Now, when you're buying a property, it can be one of the biggest investments that people make in their lives and costs an awful lot of cash. No good if the minute you walk in, either the white ants take it over or the roof falls off. So you need someone like Nitin. Nitin Chauhan is the reliable building and pest inspector. And he joins us today. Nitin, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, what on earth is so exciting and so interesting about inspecting buildings?
Nothing exciting, but what I love most is being able to help my clients and the relief that clients have when I've done an inspection for them. And I just find joy in that I help them in their purchasing process, but I don't make it as daunting. And I always love to hear the sigh in my client's voice when they realize that there's nothing majorly wrong or nothing wrong at all, and they can go ahead with their purchase in peace.
Because we do tend to get the inspector in as that last. You've looked at the property, you've made the emotional investment, you've talked about it, you've put in an offer, the offer's been accepted subject to inspection. So it's almost like you're that last secret ingredient between my bank account and my joyous freedom. So I can imagine that whole, oh, thank goodness, the roof's not going to fall in. Oh, good, because I've already mentally moved in. I don't want you to tell me that it's no good.
Yes. So it's a big purchase, as you mentioned, and it's quite a relief to the client when they realize that they've outlaid quite a lot and there aren't any major issues. And even if they are, they're aware of it. It's not something they can't tackle. So at least their move is so much smoother.
Because you often hear issues where people have bought a property, didn't get a building inspection done, and they've all of a sudden found that they've got this issue or that issue, and they've got, that buyer beware sort of kind of stuff kicks in, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. And if it's with a building, you can look at it and you can have a good eye, but there's a lot of things you don't see behind walls that you need meters to test, inside roofs where you need your eyes, and many other areas that you don't tend to look because you don't look at a building in the same way as an inspector does. And you can always provide all that information in a simple report, which then the client has a much better understanding of what they're buying.
Now tell the truth here, Nitin. Do you have the ability to turn off your inspector brain? Can you actually walk into a building without casting your eye over it and going, oh, that's interesting, I wonder what's happening there?
No, not at all. Everywhere I go, I'm just looking at bubbles in walls, cracks in ceilings, and yes, difficult to turn off.
Oh, you'd be a nightmare to watch one of those renovation programs with, I'm sure it's like, no, you can't do that. What about this?
Yeah. Yep.
So is this what you've always done?
No, not always done. I'm actually a mechanical engineer in the fixed plant and mining. I've worked in that industry for almost 10 years now.
Right.
I started this business when I was made redundant, and I wanted to do something different and be able to still work and earn a living. It has some similar aspects to what I do. I also, in my field, inspect equipment for failure, and this is inspecting buildings. They don't move as much, but you have the same practical steps to go through. So, still enjoying it. Working in my field as well as a consultant and running my business with my partner and enjoying it as well.
So you're juggling effectively two jobs?
Yes.
I see. So which is the side hustle, the engineering or the inspecting? Where does your heart really lie?
Yeah, I actually don't know which is the side hustle as yet. They're both side hustles.
They're both side hustles?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you've got the building inspection side of things, which makes sense from a mechanical engineering point of view. Where did the pest inspection come in?
Oh, well, I found that every client I went to or every agent I dealt with always had the trouble of having to get the building inspector in and then timing it with the pest inspector to come in as well and do the inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And I then went ahead and did the accreditation to do just the inspections and not the actual pest control.
Okay, so you find them, don't kill them?
Yeah, so I just find them and then report on them. So
Okay.
I found that agents really love that. One person comes in and does the inspection in one hit. Don't have to disturb the tenant or don't have to get the agent to let several people in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they have to let evaluators in as well as other trades. So to lessen the blow, one inspector comes in. Also from the client's point of view, one person comes in, two reports as per standard, but one person to deal with and get it all done for them.
Okay. What's the most common pest you find within the houses in Perth?
Yeah, so with timber pest inspections, with respect to purchasing a property, we only look at timber pests, and timber pests are specific in the sense that the potential to cause structural damage.
Okay.
So that only includes termites, which are typically called white ants, wood borers, and wood decay.
So it's more than just looking for termites?
Yeah, so it's just those are the three elements. It's termites, borers, and decay. Those are the only aspects that are considered timber pests and that can affect a building structurally. So timber pest inspections do not include spiders and snakes and rats. Those are typically taken care of by pest controllers. But not to say that I won't point out if I have seen any pests, and I'll report on it.
As you're wandering through the roof space, you're attacked by 10 possums. Yeah, it's probably worth a mention.
So
Yeah.
I'll mention whatever I see out there and refer a pest controller. But a lot of people, when it comes to purchasing a property, based on the standard, it's timber pests, and those are the three aspects that can structurally damage a property, or potentially, if you see signs, they can potentially also damage. So that's what we look for: damage and potential damage.
Okay, cool. So having the two reports together makes complete sense because, of course, one affects the other. The structural integrity of the property is affected by the pests, which makes complete sense.
They go hand in hand, but they also very different. The way you actually report on them. So there's a real clear difference. That's why the industry has always kept those two jobs separate. But I've found a really good way to do both of them, but still report on them independently as well, because they have very different aspects, but they cause this damage to the same part of the property, which is the structural part of the property.
Yeah, which of course the damage to structure means that it falls on your head while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Which is less than desirable, I would imagine.
So same end result, but looking at different items that can affect the structure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I was told a secret. This is actually a family business.
Yes, family business. My partner and I run it together. My partner does a lot of the marketing, reporting, and myself, and I have subcontractor inspectors on board as well that do all the inspections.
So it's not like you need to, there's just sort of you against the universe. You've got a really great team of people behind you.
Yes, good team and a really good system that we've built together. And all of our inspectors have different specialities. They've worked in construction as supervisors, as roof carpenters, and licensed builders. So a real mix of knowledge. With myself being the engineer, we've got a real mix of knowledge, and we can have inspectors review jobs done by each other, so good feedback.
So a real breadth of experience there, which means you can really tackle anything which is thrown at you, even if you don't know about it. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
So great toys, I know this because I've seen your moisture meters and your thermal guns and all the other cool toys that we get to play with. So good technology supported by fantastic knowledge of a really broad range of areas, plus obviously some additional learning so that you can be not quite a one-stop shop, because that implies that you've got sort of kind of general knowledge rather than specific knowledge, but an ability to go in and look at the whole structure of a property, whether it's being damaged mechanically or it's being damaged by pests.
Yep.
And in a single but completely independent
Reports.
two sets of reports.
Yep.
Brilliant. So if people are sitting there going, crumbs, I'm not quite sure what to do with my next property, and they're going, well, do I get a building inspector or don't I? What would your advice be? Clearly you're biased towards the building inspector side of things, but is there situations where a building inspector really isn't necessary?
I wouldn't say that, even if you've had knowledge that it's been one of our very reputable builders, even if it is a new property and not very old. I always recommend a building and a pest inspection. They're always necessary, and it's with buying anything major. Even if you're buying a vehicle, whether it's brand new, you've got the guarantee that it's checked by the manufacturer. But with a second-hand vehicle, without a doubt, most people get somebody knowledgeable to check it for them, or they get an inspection done. And that's the same with a home. And with a new build, you got the guarantee of a builder, but you want something independent, and that's where building inspectors can be quite unbiased and independent.
I guess you've got the skin in the game is your reputation, not the fact that you just built someone a house.
Yeah.
But so if people are in that situation where they either have a rental property that they want to make sure is still tickety-boo, they've got a home they're purchasing, or perhaps a home they're selling that they'd like to be a bit more confident about, so they can be very transparent. What's the best way for them to get hold of you?
Yeah, so we've got a Facebook page, LinkedIn page, and a website. We're trying to get up there. If you search building inspector or reliable, and the reason I chose the word reliable is I'm hoping that people will tend to look for somebody reliable and use the word reliable as well.
I see some smart SEO going on here.
Yeah. So those are the ways you can find me. But what I do is I try and align myself with key people within the industry that help with the buying process. So mortgage brokers, real estate agents, financial planners, and even accountants. And a lot of people do interact with a lot of these financial professionals at any given time in their life, and definitely brokers when they're purchasing a property. And what I say to people is listen to your broker. He's fending for you. He's going to try and get the finance for you, the best finance he can. And any recommendations he gives are going to be of benefit. He's going to recommend the need for a building inspection and a pest inspection because he believes that needs to be done because you actually, as a client, making a very large purchase. So trust your broker or trust your accountant because they're working for you. So
they're already on your team.
Yeah, so they're going to look out for you.
Well, so obviously, make the call, catch up with you, at least have a conversation about what people are thinking and how you can help them. It makes complete sense to go with someone who is reliable, as is your good self.
Yes, reliable, on time, and always there.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.